Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Rishabh Gulati. Breaking developments coming in at the top of this telecast. The National Investigating Agency, which was associated with the investigation of the Red Fort terror attack, has now started the formal process of taking over the case after the Ministry of Home Affairs issued orders handing the case investigation over to the NIA. Sources are telling NewsX that the Delhi police has submitted its investigation report to the NIA. So, a preliminary investigation report of the attack yesterday has been completed by the Delhi police. They have now handed this over to the MHA and to the NIA, which now will take over the investigation and the coordination as the nodal agency in this regard. What actually will come of it now, we have to now examine, understand and figure out what we need to do next. Interesting conversations need to take place from within on what the responses will be, and of course with us over here on what will happen next. General Sanjay Kulkarni with us, Yashovardhan Jha joining us on the broadcast very shortly, General Asthana is with us also, General Sudhakar is with us also, Group Captain Chaudhary with us, and Pathikrit joining us on the broadcast as well. Pathikrit, let me quickly begin with you and get a perspective in. So now we pretty much know the whole story of what was going on. It was the Faridabad cell, what they were operating. One guy skipped the net. He waited 3 hours, blew himself up. The question that I have to ask you is, what next?
Rishabh, availability of ammonium nitrate is a very big challenge in this country because it is available in every other fertilizer shop. So I think the government and the agencies over the last 1 month has neutralized several such modules from Rajasthan to Uttar Pradesh to, back in January, there was a seizure of 16,000 tons of ammonium nitrate in West Bengal. 200 tons were seized in August. So I think it's a game that is going on. Unfortunately, they only have to be successful once, while the agencies will have to be successful 100 times, 100%. But I think, the kind of inflammatory statements that were coming from Pakistan or Bangladesh about targeting India, starting from the eastern flank, I think that issue has been very serious. And I think that's the reason Prime Minister made it very clear that Operation Sindoor is not yet over. Secondly, any act of terror will be declared as an act of war. That's the reason government is ensuring that no loose end remains and all the investigations are done, and then only it will be declared as an act of terror officially. I think the casualty figures are only going to rise. My only concern is, are there any more such parked vehicles here and there which may have already been rigged with IEDs and they were waiting to be detonated? Because I think this guy, whatever he did it in haste, because he knew that once the Faridabad model was arrested, his name would also crop up.
Okay, well, with one caveat, particularly, we know where this began. So the bus starts with this Dr. Adil, who came from Anantnag, got caught in Saharanpur. Now these guys have been caught alive, and we know that Adil is squealing because he gave up Shakil and others. If only they had also given up the car number. The name wasn't enough. The car number was required to actually stop this guy from crossing from Badarpur into Delhi. But we've caught these guys. So in the interrogation, do you feel that they will spill the beans?
Rishabh, generally they do, but the bigger challenge is there only one module that has been used by JEM, or there are multiple such parallel modules working where each module is not aware of what the other module is doing, to ensure that there is no leakage of information. That's how complex it is, and that's why the agencies have been working. I'm sure throughout last night the operations were going on to find out if there are other such vehicles. Because let me put one point. The place where this vehicle was parked, you cannot just suddenly go and put an ID over there. Improvised ID being rigged into a vehicle, you require a garage to do it. It cannot be done in an open space, which means it was already done previously.
Yeah, particularly we managed to trace it. I've just gone through the sequence shortly. So the man was spotted crossing from the Badarpur border from the Faridabad side before he entered that parking lot outside the Suneri Bagh Masjid. So he had it already placed. Either on some detonator, I suspect a timer, which was supposed to just go off at 7 o'clock. But again, we don't know that yet because those details are not out of the FSL lab. Let me get General Kulkarni in. General Kulkarni, I have to take this thought with you because now we've spoken to this Dr. Adil's sister-in-law. We've spoken to the Dr. Shakil's family members. Now, they are saying that, look, these guys were hard-working students. They were planning for their post-graduation in medicine. We had no idea what was going on. Okay, now in the case of Mohammad Omar, the guy is dead. This is not a arrested on suspicion and a charge sheet will follow. He's a suicide bomber. Nobody is officially calling him that yet, but you and I both know what he is. Now, I can understand some people not being able to accept it, but what do we do with the abject denial of the scale of what was happening?
Rishabh, I must tell you my own personal experience with all these kind of things in the valley. Invariably, we found that whenever anybody was caught, the entire family would say, well, we've got nothing to do with him. We have never ever met him. We don't even know who he is. And, all that kind will start. There'll be 6, 7 siblings in the family. One of them is a teacher. Yet another one is a professor somewhere. Yet another Anganwadi, and yet another third, fourth man, engineer, everything in it. But they will claim total innocence as if we didn't know. But because of that individual from the family who's turned into a terrorist or a militant, whatever you wish to call him, you find that the goodwill generated by that family can be seen from the kind of house that they live in, the kind of perks that they get. That's indicative you will never have. We have to now strike at the roots. And the root is the entire family. Then, we have the kind of people within the country who will say, well, how can you do that? That individual was more than 25 years of age or 18 years of age. He is an independent decision maker. But that independent decision maker is not independent. It's so much.
Okay, I want to touch upon this. Government Medical College, Srinagar. Okay, one of the most prestigious medical colleges in Jammu and Kashmir. Government Medical College, Anantnag. Now, we know that for sure that in the Government Medical College in Anantnag, where this Dr. Adil was employed and the other guy was employed in the Government Medical College in Srinagar, in Anantnag, he was keeping a locker which had 3 items. It had a stethoscope, it had an AK-47 and it had cartridges, magazines for the AK-47. 1 year after he quit the college, he still had the locker full of arms and ammunition there. I mean, surely within the medical system now that is operating, then these guys get some Al-Badr Medical Institute in Saharanpur, then some Al-Falah Medical College in Faridabad. What the heck was going on? 2 doctors in the Al-Falah Medical College have 3 tons, I repeat, 3 tons of explosives. The army men have been telling me that sometimes army units don't travel with 3 tons of explosives. And nobody in these universities, colleges, it seems like there is some web which is operating and these institutes, including the Government Medical College, are providing cover.
Definitely. What you see, Rishabh, is this particular fertilizer is available anywhere and everywhere. What is ammonium nitrate? Nitrate is the content which has got explosive. All of it with diesel or mobile, with detonator, with yet a small PK or a RDX can do all this blasting. And that is something which is very, very doable, because you get RDX, TNT, all of it is not so easy. So this is available in the open market. There's nothing that you can do. Though there are restrictions if the nitrate content is more than 45% and things of those kinds. But despite all that, it can be used. But what is more important today is all these people are from a highly respectable family. They seem to be doing so well in life. They've all become doctors. This Al-Falah University that we are talking about was established in 2013 in Dubai. And in 2014, it got to be able to establish in India. And by 2015, it was operational. Omar was there teaching for the last 7 years. All doctors, part of the entire gang. They were all educated people. So you can't be saying that the sleeper cell and all these overground workers are illiterates or poor or deprived of anything.
Okay, but so I have to ask you the question, sir, because we end up discussing that, this particular cell, I mean, generally the recruitment happens that they recruit a young person in Jammu and Kashmir, radicalize him, give him an AK-47 and take him away to some camp in the remote mountains. Now, this is different. This is a person who's gone to medical college in Srinagar, has qualified MBBS, he's gotten a job in the medical college, then he's taken another job somewhere else in the outskirts of the national capital region. So this web of institutes operating. I want to know what this Al Badr Institute is, where this Adil he was putting posters supporting the JEM in Anantnag, and 2 days later he is reporting for duty in Saharanpur in a medical institute. And all the other chaps, what is this Al-Falah? Who runs it? Who's operating it? Who's funding it? There would be some serious concern. General Asthana, there's a web that's operating. Now it's emanating. Government Medical College per force means that it is funded by the government. General Asthana, don't worry. We'll unmute you, sir. We'll be able to hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
See, as far as this network is concerned, the network could be much bigger. There is no doubt about it. Let's put it this way, that if the terror groups, especially these white collar terrorists, I would put it, I would like to say that this is a different kind of warfare, which we call it as fourth generation warfare, where you have the self-actuating cells and self-motivating radicalized entities who are very well educated, who don't need any different kind of training, but then they are radicalized and their minds have already been read and recruited in that context. This model was very well and successfully used by IS, because if you see the recruitment pattern of IS, they had a whole lot of educated people in their network. So I think the Pakistani organizations have also now caught on to that model, that there is a successful model which could be self-actuating and has got a higher level of deniability as compared to sending raw terrorists or terrorists physically and creating some scene.
No, but I'm sorry, sir, General Asthana, but if I have to go and seek a meeting with Professor Dr. Ifat Hassan Shah, Principal and Dean of Government Medical College, Srinagar, what do I ask her? That one of your boys has just blown himself outside the Red Fort, and what will she say? I have no idea who is working for me. What's going on? How do we get beyond that abject denial?
We have to be very harsh on the collaborators. Unfortunately, what you are saying is a concern for all of us. But then the fact is, let me say bluntly, that in our system, we have found that the collaborators have been very lightly left. The present rule or law, that is UAPA, is a relatively weaker law. We had a stronger law called POTA earlier. In UAPA, you only can lodge FIRs. Now, let me put it something like this. Pahalgam attack happened. There were a whole lot of guys who were arrested to say that, okay, they were the people where these terrorists stayed. Now, after that, I think everybody forgot about it. And I have not heard very much as to what exactly happened to them, what kind of punishments did they get to collaborate with those terrorists. So, like this, we have seen the collaborators. Now, even today, the news is very hot. A number of doctors have been arrested, certainly. But you will find that after the event is over, all these doctors, when you try to be harsh, then there will be enough people to say, no, they were innocent. They had no problem.
No. Now it's well established. But okay, can I just put the screen on? Can you put my touchpad onto the screen, please? Okay. Now have a look at this. This is the Al-Falah Medical College. They say they are the Al-Falah University. They also have a School of Medical Sciences and Research Center. They claim themselves to be the best medical college in Haryana. Okay. Here is the message from the principal. It's a matter of great honor and immense pleasure to be part of Al-Falah University, the Al-Falah School of Medical Science and Research. I am deeply grateful to the Board of Trustees for placing their trust in me. I have come from the head of community medicine. We are establishing extension services of the Al-Falah Hospital in community medicine in Pali, Dhauj. Dhauj is where these guys were operating from, by the way. That's where this ammonium nitrate was recovered. Fatehpur, Tagga, Kheri Kalan and urban Faridabad. They have a department of anatomy, department of pharmacology. Here are these guys. Here's the vice chancellor. Their phone number is here available. They're running a 24/7 call center, blood bank. Now, who's funding these guys, General Asthana?
I'm sure there will be enough funders for these organizations. I'm not too sure because I have not gone into the funding pattern
So
of
that's the
Al-Falah
point.
Hospital.
Career opportunities, senior positions. Now we know that these faculty positions and senior residents were being filled by people who were building bombs. Again, with 3 tons. They had AK-47s, Berettas, Krinkov rifles, magazines. They have a cricket ground, basketball court, badminton court, 80-acre campus. 80-acre campus. Now somebody's granted them that campus. Either they purchased it or they've got it at that 1 rupee grant that medical institutes get. Somebody is funding them. Somebody has made the phone call to support them. Then these are serious questions we have to address. We have to figure out what the heck was going on. How is this institute unaware to the level of their hiring practices, at that when a terror module is busted, nobody knows. These guys were the ultimate secret keepers, better than the CIA and the RAW. Even the person sharing the room with them did not know that there was ammonium nitrate everywhere, and that it is unusual to have a Kalashnikov in your locker along with your stethoscope. Apparently, that's not unusual. I would find it rather unusual. Very strange, disturbing, troubling. But where do I take it from there? Let me get Group Captain Chaudhary into this. Group Captain Chaudhary. So, if we assume for a second that the immediate web, barring the guy who got away and is now dead because he became a suicide bomber, that the immediate web has been caught and a series of blasts have been prevented. But how do we investigate this network of institutions that was running with the government medical colleges in Kashmir being at the center of them?
Good evening, Rishabh. Good evening, all co-panelists. First of all, my heartfelt condolences to the victims of the tragedy. It was seen coming because whatever we did in Op Sindoor and the way we neutralized, we cannot afford to lower our guard, and something like was to happen, in my opinion. See, I would say the General Bipin Rawat used to say that India has to fight 2.5 front war. That time people do not understand. That time we know only Pakistan as an enemy and China is another front. What is this 2.5 front actually? Now we understand. Rather, I say, though debatably, that India has to fight 3.5 front. Now the third front of Bangladesh, Myanmar, etc. open up. But in my opinion, actually, India has to fight 2 front war within and 1.5 front only with Pakistan, China, and Myanmar, Bangladesh, etc. So, because the difficulty is this 2 front, which I'm referring to, is not visible. While you know the enemy, who is the half front, Pakistan is enemy, they are coming from Western front, somebody coming from Eastern front, they are more or less visible. But this invisible enemy is more dangerous. And we have seen always, there are so many sympathizers, there are so many supporters, but generally the hardcore people who are in front or are visible may get punished, but there are hundreds of them behind them.
No, but what is the conversation you have? What is the conversation we can have with Professor Dr. Rukhsana Najib, Principal Dean of Government Medical College, Anantnag, where in the locker of a person who no longer works there, the doctor left in October 2024, but he still has a locker. Inside the locker, there is a stethoscope and then an AK-47. What is the conversation we have that everybody is clueless? Nobody has any idea. How do we have these conversations and believe them?
So that is the story. Every time the responsibility needs to be faked. General Asthana has clearly said that the law is weak. The problem is that even we take action, these people will get a free hand after some time. But that is how we have to think how to counter this radicalization and people who are involved. We all know how the Punjab terrorism was finished. But Somehow some strong messages are to be given that you can't just be in exact denial. I don't know anything. So how can you not know? Even you don't know, then what is the responsibility? Everybody, if somebody is made a head of the organization and tomorrow he says, no, I'm not aware, my employees, what were they doing? These are the employed people by then. They are sympathizer. They are part of the network. The network has to be cracked fully, and everybody has to be taken to the task. How? I don't have an answer how, but I need not tell the security NIA agency, NIA or the government then how to tackle this. It has been a long now.
Okay, so private hospital Ambala Road in Saharanpur is where Adil Ahmed Radar was arrested. He's the man who squealed and then led to this Al-Falah Medical College. So what do we do? I'm told there is something called the Al-Falah University in Dhauj in Faridabad. Where does the money, Patikrit, where is 80-acre campus? 80 acres that they are running of a university that you and I have never heard of, and there are 2 terrorists with 3 tons of explosives in there. What do we do? How do we find out who's funding them? Who's the trustees who are paying the bills?
So Rishabh, every time some foreign direct investment comes in the area of education or something, I think we should stop becoming very euphoric. We have to understand that this is a new cover. You have a new army of medical radicals, we can call them. Now look at how a hospital is being used as a front, as a cover for doing something so sinister. Even for asymmetric war, hospitals were always sacrosanct. So, problem is, security will have to be at the core of our existence and daily life, which is not there. Even if you go to a 5-star hotel, the attitude which some people show that when they're frisked, there's a problem. But look at the larger dimension of what we are dealing with, Rishabh. You had 2,900 kg of explosives which were seized. You had 3 operatives arrested from Gujarat who were extracting ricin, a very, very potent poison which can kill thousands of people. It is colorless, odorless. You had a GPS spoofing which happened in Delhi and Bombay, where somebody was trying to, transmit false navigation data, which could have led to mass scale air accidents. Imagine the scale of what is happening. So there has to be a state-sponsored non-state actor operating here. It's not just a ragtag JEM that we are dealing with.
Okay, Patikrit, how do we follow the money? Okay, I reject prima facie, for the purposes of conversation at least, that just a bunch of 2-3 rogue operators with no support from anybody else can work the system like this. I'm not saying it's impossible, but they had a system of patronage, a system of appointments that were emanating from a system that is funded by the government of India. The government of India, which funds the government of Jammu and Kashmir, paid the salaries of the men who just blew themselves up. Okay, that's the reality check.
Yeah.
For 7 years, they paid their salaries, paid their wages, paid their all components of the monies that were going into their family. They were on a government wage at the government medical college in Srinagar. Patikrit, how do we keep on justifying that?
So first of all, Rishabh, you have a very, very valid question. I think we need to come out of the delusion that education itself takes care of radicalization. Education, the way we have it, without any ethos, morality, spirituality, nationalism embedded in it, education has nothing to do with radicalization. A deeply radicalized person can be a highly educated person per se. And so the presumption that just because you are taking education to certain places of Kashmir, it will automatically lead to de-radicalization. The presumption, no, these are minority affairs, let's not get interfere into it. That is at the core of the problem. You talk about an institutional cover, you will see what is going to happen next. The moment they are taken to the court, you would have an army of lawyers, professional lawyers there to defend them. In the last few months, you had the CRPF camp attack terrorists acquitted of 2007. You had the terrorists which were involved in the Mumbai train blast, all acquitted. You think it's happening just for the sake of it? There are lawyers who fight it out. Well-oiled machinery which give them institutional
Yeah,
cover
it's
while
true. All the
executing a
12
project.
accused in the Mumbai blast, train blast, all of them were acquitted because
Yes.
the court said that the prosecution failed to prove its case. Okay, so let me get General Kulkarni in. General Kulkarni, sometime last year, out of curiosity, I was reading the NIA reports in the cases that are going on against Yasin Malik and all these guys. Fascinating reading. Now, these guys were doing property investments in places like Gurugram. So, taking laundered money coming from Hawala, then converting it into white, buying property with it, earning profits by holding the property for 2-3 years, and then deploying the profits from the sale of the property towards insidious means. I mean, this is a well-oiled machinery, fascinating reading. But now, sir, if we now know that in the medical professional, okay, this gang of gangsters we've caught, okay, we have to assume there are others. Now, so you have to have the conversation with the principal and dean of government medical college in Anantnag, the principal and dean of government medical college in the capital, okay. The chief minister has to walk in and say, hey, what's going on? Have you even opened the lockers to see if there are AK-47s inside there? Who is this Al-Falah college? Who funded this? 80-acre campus. I've opened the website. They say we are the best medical college in Haryana. It's a fabulous website. What a campus they've got. You and I have never heard of it, but somebody's paid for it. Who's paid for it? How do we now figure this out?
Rishabh, just a few questions. First, of course, Yasin Malik and all these people, they can invest and they have the entire country to themselves. But none from the others can go and settle down or even buy a piece of land in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. But they can invest and they can have the whole of country and do whatever they feel like. Firstly. Secondly, your Al-Falah University. It's a charitable university established in the heart of Dubai, and they are the ones who have invested money. And you know how much it costs? If they say, you see their website, 80,000 rupees a year tuition fee for becoming a B.Tech. That means, what are they giving a degree of Bachelor of Technology for 80,000 rupees a year? And that's it. And what else are they doing? What they're learning, what they're doing, you know it. The laboratory, what was this Omar doing over there for 7 years? Nothing but wanting to see how explosives are made. You see that doctor in Gujarat, what he did, having done his medical from China, exactly that. Now, the legal support is concerned. Tremendous amount of legal support for everybody, because each one of us will jump in, because there are lakhs and lakhs of fees that will be paid to all those lawyers who will be defending these people. You see that engineer, member of parliament, in jail. What does he want? He wants to attend parliament sessions, and we aren't able to say so. We should be able to say by now. It's been a year plus for the parliament on that this man is a criminal and he ought not to be, he should be deprived of his member of parliament. Nothing. It's just carrying on. He's in the jail for years on and gets elected a lakhs of votes from the valley. What is this all about? So this radicalization, indoctrination is something that we need to fight. And all of them who seem to think nation does not come first, but their religion or their beliefs come first, I think they really need to be told, look, nation comes first.
Okay, so here it is for the sake of our viewers. This is the Al-Falah University in Dubai. This is their website. Okay, I just have a look at this. And what I've just discovered is this is the university in Dubai, which has absolutely no data on its website. There's nothing. Okay. Then the branch of the university, which is actually supposed to be an affiliated college, which is operating in Faridabad in Haryana, look at their website. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the courses, the fee structure. So, the original university in Dubai has only 4 courses going on: mass communication, arts and humanities, law and business administration. Nothing to do with the medical profession, but they are running an 80-acre medical campus in Faridabad. Now, yeah, is that suspicious? Of course, damn right is suspicious. Let me quick word from General Asthana, and then I need to take a quick break. General Asthana, so I mean, we have to follow these trails. This can't be that these 4 rogue operators, they happen to become friends, they brainwashed each other, they were chuddy buddies. From the government medical college system to what was going on there, to this private clinic that was operating in Saharanpur, where Adil was captured, to this institute where two of the doctors, faculty members, senior faculty members, turned out to be terrorists.
Certainly, everyone who is responsible for these medical colleges and all these institutions, their head of the institute, he needs to be investigated and made accountable for whatever is happening. If he says, I don't know, then he should be accountable for, shall I say, not knowing what is happening, because that itself is also a, shall I say, weakness. So I think we have been fairly soft while dealing with such institutions, and whenever certain network comes to limelight, everybody who is connected with that somehow wriggles out. Now this trend has to stop. So everybody now who is connected to it should not be allowed to wriggle out so easily. And that is where I said, when I mentioned about that law is weak, it is by a fair amount of experience which we have faced, that after you catch a collaborator and you find with so much of effort and risk you catch a collaborator.
So let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. Is it reasonable for us to now assume on the face of the weighty evidence that we currently have, Group Captain, that at this point of time, there is a network of front cover organizations, which might be colleges, they might be other institutes that are operating, who are providing the visiting cards, the cover stories for terror operatives, where they are hired as faculty members, they are given a room, given a building, given an official position, but their actual job is to run a terror factory. Is it reasonable to assume that?
I think so. You are correctly hit the nail. Actually, that is how it is happening. See, all terrorist activities, how much radicalization or radicalized people are, what is most required for any such activities is the money. Whether ammonium nitrate is easily available, or fuel oil is available, or detonators are available, or RDX is available. Finally, everything leads to the money. If we have to control in a substantial manner, this money funding needs to be stopped. Anyhow, how? Now there, like we have made a NIA, there should be a FIU, something, Financial Intelligence Unit, who has the powers actually to impose law. There should be law should be enacted. Anti-money laundering, because nothing happens as of now. Money laundering laws are very weak, and the KYC norms have to be probably strengthened. The cash transaction limits, though there, but not followed. And why we are not basically investigating these non-profit organizations? Their NGOs have been made, now the hospitals have been made. All these are terrorist factories based on the money. So the government needs to initiate lot many measures, and the very punishable basically laws to stop all these things. They are cow-funding platforms. Why do not we monitor? So that is my main concern. If this money is stopped, see, there were so many false currencies were catch hold on Jammu and Kashmir, and if you see, definitely the terrorism has come down, because we have done lot of things actually in Jammu and Kashmir to stop that money funding. So that is my main point and request to the government to do
Developments
something
coming in, because I am being told that the police in Haryana has now questioned students, principal and faculty members who were working with Dr. Muzammil Shakil at this university we have been discussing, the Al-Falah University. The police says more than 52 people in this university have now been questioned. 6 have been detained for questioning about the terror module. So, of the 52 people that the police have gone and met and done inquiries with, they have felt that the stories of at least 6 are suspicious, and they have detained them for further questioning. Now, the entire mechanism at this point of time, Pratikrit, seems suspicious, that the institutes are being created to provide cover for radicalized individuals so that they can operate in various parts of the country where they don't have much to do other than plot and scheme on terrorism. Now, a university that operates in Dubai but has only a fig leaf of a presence, has nothing to do with medicine, is running a massive 80-acre medical college in Faridabad, which you and I have never heard of until yesterday, and we discovered 2 of them turned out to be terrorists. So, how do we at this point of time come and say that hang on, this is not coincidental?
Rishabh, if you look at the Krinkov rifle which has been recovered, it's a very special kind of a rifle which is not generally available as a conventional AK-47. It's a very miniaturized version. That means somebody actually gave it from a distant place. Yes, you are absolutely right. As a country, we have always held hospitals and educational institutes in high respect and high honor. Therefore, we never look at a hospital or an educational institute with suspicion. We always, as a country, have honored the educated person, and that's why they have always been called Acharya. Now, those are now being used as a cover, an institutional way of covering up sinister activities. And that's where I think, this is a new dimension of warfare. The other part is this. What was happening in Gujarat in terms of raising that rising for poison, it is a new dimension of biological warfare that we are entering in. You need a completely radical restructuring and overhaul how we deal with this issue. And the most important thing is this: we need to come out of this delusional approach that every sinner has a future. Even if 10 criminals go off, let no innocent be harmed. That has ruined this country. And I think somewhere there is, this person, the Nithari killer of children, got acquitted today.
Yeah.
Tell me, what kind of deterrence then we have? Where is the closure? Somebody killed those children, right? The children did not die on their own. Where is the closure? So you are,
but do the laws exist? For sure they exist. But now we understand how the tentacles operate, and now it's a truism. Now, if I speak to the family members, and they are large families, this terrorist had 2 brothers and a sister. Now, he's died in front of hundreds of witnesses, having injured 20 others and killed at least 7 others. And if you speak to the family, well, he was a good student, he was very hardworking, very studious, and he was preparing for his PG. Great chap. We had no idea. We are shocked. We refuse to believe it. He's blown himself up, but we still refuse to believe it. Now, he is then studying or gets his MBBS from the Government Medical College of Srinagar not too long ago, in 2017. It's hardly 7-8 years ago that this man has done his MBBS. Okay, he becomes a faculty member immediately after, and then for some reason he decides that Kashmir has too many doctors, that Jammu and Kashmir has too many doctors. That's not where the medical profession service needs to be done. So I need to exit Kashmir and I need to go to Saharanpur in UP, because that's where the medical future of the fraternity lies. He's not thinking, I want to go to All India Institute of Medical Sciences or want to join one of the larger institutes, colleges that teach medicine, or even a large hospital chain. But I want to go to this private medical college in Saharanpur, and I will make friends with these colleagues of mine who are in this Al-Falah Medical University, which I promise you, most of the people watching this telecast have never heard the name of. We've just discovered it, and we found out that this university has a campus that is bigger than the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. It is offering dozens of courses, hundreds of students, and who is funding it? I don't know. It has a principal and a vice chancellor. I don't know. Difficult conversations that need to be had from the get-go, and we need to have them. So, 52 people have been questioned, 6 have been detained from this university. I am curious about this Saharanpur hospital as well. General Kulkarni, I think General Sudhakarji is also joining us. General Kulkarni, quick thought with you. We end up and will end up discussing how do we make Pakistan pay, okay, and that conversation will be part of the substantive discussions we have to have in the next days and weeks to come. But within us, in breaking these systems, what do we do next?
Every citizen is a soldier. Men in uniform will guard the frontiers. They will ensure the territorial integrity and sovereignty. But within us, we have all have to be citizen soldiers. It's time we have a minister for internal security for counter-terrorism, whose sole job is to ensure that coordinate, synergize, and ensure that these kind of things do not happen. And the law has to be not soft, it has to be hard. And the entire family needs to be penalized. Anybody in that family who says, well, I don't know where my son is, let me tell you my personal experience. These boys over there ring up their mothers every day. There's not a question. Their mobile, you check everything. I've seen it for myself. Now, all these talks, you see the houses that they've constructed. Have you seen a single beggar in J&K? Have you ever seen a single beggar who belongs, who's a Kashmiri, a beggar? Or who does whose house does not have electricity, or whose house does not have water, or who does not have food? Not one, not now, for the last 50 years, not one. So the kind of facilities being given by the government to them and the kind of facilities being misused by Jammu and Kashmir is something ridiculous. The politicians there, the people there, they have to understand this radicalization, indoctrination, and wanting to say that Khoon ki nadiyan bahengi agar 370 abrogate hoga is indicative of the mindset. That
Okay,
mindset
yeah, but
has to
it's been
be-
6 years. So this is, I mean, these guys graduated college and within 18 months, 370 had been abrogated. Remember, they just came out of MBBS 8 years ago. Then immediately after MBBS, they got a job in the same college, in Government Medical College, Srinagar. Now, it's not unheard of. Residencies for past students are not unheard of, okay, in the medical profession. But let me get General Sudhakar into this conversation. General Sudhakar, this Al-Falah School of Medical Sciences in this 80-acre campus has a designation as a private university granted in 2017 by the University Grants Commission. Now, do we need to examine who funded this institution? Because I can argue that these institutions are being created as cover institutions, that they just provide the fig leaf of an official job for people who are running terror factories. Now, who examines this? Does the UGC examine it? Do we send it to Haryana government? Who does it now?
Yeah, Rishabh, good evening. Thank you for inviting me for your show, and compliments to very distinguished and esteemed co-panelists. Very strong point made by you. That's what we need to be proactive in our approach. When you say proactive, rather than waiting for a thing to happen and then start asking these kind of questions, we need to fit them into a kind of a checklist of points that we have to ensure that we are adopting a effective, very effective counter strategy against an impending threat. Having said that, if you allow me, I want to make 2-3 quick points. You see, way back in 2022 or so, 12,000 IT qualified people from the triangle, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala, they had moved to Karimganj or close to Siliguri corridor, exact place I don't know. Soon, within couple of days, they were transported from there to the epicenter of terrorism, Afghan-Pakistan corridor. They underwent training for nearly 6 months. Thereafter, they got distributed to different groups, maybe Al-Qaeda, maybe ISIS, maybe something else. Now, a new dimension is emerging, Rishabh. It is the medical. And you see, a lot of people talk about the disruptive technology. In that, there is one heading which keeps propping up is MEMOX. MEMOX deals with life, health, biotechnology. And Patikrit, he made a very significant point. You see, now the levels of the terrorism is also shifting. From IT, it has shifted to health, something directly to do with the health status, which can kill people without using any bullet. Like
No, but General Sudhakar, there is a difference between a rogue terrorist in his bathroom doing Frankensteinian experiments and the similar rogue terrorist setting up an institute in which there is a department of physical and molecular science in an 80-acre campus with funding from coming from Dubai. That's a different level, and with friends and buddies who are in government medical colleges in Anantnag and in Srinagar. Srinagar is the capital of the state. The government medical college in Srinagar is the equivalent of the AIIMS in Delhi. That's the premierness of how this would be defined. There's a difference between a rogue operator and an institutionalized operation, sir.
line, Rishabh, one line just to qualify your statement, if you
Yes.
allow me. What I'm saying, who's doing it? You see, one of our distinguished panelists, he's very emphatically, he focused on the issue. We need to enhance the capability of our monitoring and surveillance architecture. Now, who's funding it? Does any one of us know that in Bangladesh, Turkey is taking the help of Qatar, getting huge amount of money simply to educate girl children in madrasas on the religious training? If it is yes, now along with that money, there are also training been imparted by Lashkar-e-Toiba to Rohingya Brotherhood, 4 of them. They've come up in a big way, and one of them is actually dealing with narcotics. Revenue collection is 400 to 600 crores rupees per month, not per annum. That is the quantum of money which is coming. So that money slowly and steadily is also penetrating into the Indian ecosystem and subcontinent. Therefore, we need to become more aware. We need to know how the ecosystem is operating. We need to actually go beyond the boundaries
Okay,
of
no,
the
so,
rules.
so do I need to have a conversation? I mean, who's going to have that conversation? General Asthana, somebody needs to call up. No, the phone number is on the website. Excuse me, Mr. Vice Chancellor, are you currently aware of what has been taking place in your university campus? Where does your money come from? Who pays your salary? General Asthana. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I think it's high time that we monitor the funding pattern of all these institutes, and the terror funding, tracking the terror funding has to be taken as a mission mode, as was done in Kashmir. I think it will have to extend to rest of the country as well, because there are far too many institutes. Also, as I mentioned, the concepts are changing because terrorists also learn, and they know that perhaps the labs of these universities could be used for hiding such kind of experiments and such kind of explosives, and perhaps they did utilize that particular facility and that weakness perhaps in our system. That's one part of it. Secondly, we need to perhaps get into the wherever when we are giving permissions, like this university, somebody must have given permission. There must be strictly laid down parameters as far as the funding is concerned for these institutions, and all the FDIs which are coming for these institutions, they must be monitored, because it's not that, I mean, we need FDIs in the country certainly, but they need to be monitored. If we monitor that, I'm sure a lot will come out. There was a fair amount of control when we did the terror funding investigations in Kashmir. A fair amount of control did get exercised in a manner that when the money trail was checked for stone pelting did go down. Similarly, I think the same model that was a successful model,
Okay.
we utilized it in some manner.
So
I
General
think it
Asthana,
needs to be extended.
yeah, the model of the past that was telling us that in the internal indoctrination, we know what Erdogan's son was tasked to do in India. We are all well aware of it. You know that better than I do. So this is a constant. You're sitting under a mosquito net, and the mosquitoes are trying everything possible to get in. So when they tried funding the madrasas and doing indoctrination there, you can say, okay, that's the problem. Then they said, okay, these theological institutes, markazes that need to be investigative and understood. But now, Group Captain, we understand that these massive university campuses are operating, and the front of the campus says medical college. And you say, okay, this is a medical college, this is doctors. The board says Government Medical College, Srinagar. So if somebody asks me, let us say that I am being questioned, and they say, okay, what are your bona fides? Where do you work? What do you do? And I say, I am a doctor, faculty member at Government Medical College in Srinagar, where I am an MBBS graduate. You think, okay, Government Medical College, I mean, he's literally getting a government salary, he's a government servant in the medical profession. And then we find out that that person is a terrorist. So what are the conversations of we were paying the salaries of 2 of these terrorists. Who's funding these universities? Who are the vice chancellors? Who are the trustees? What's going on? How do we figure this out?
absolutely. Your point is absolutely correct, because the reason why you are pointing out this, and I am also, though I don't have definite answer, I am also thinking about that. This is where the problem lies. The we have been discussing this part, that how to tackle this, people who are sympathizers and supporters and the funders, and they have actually somewhere helped the activities to go on. Then how the responsibility is fixed? Today we can, you are asking questions, we can fix this responsibility in media pressure or pressure of the public, then some action may be taken, but tomorrow they will go the scot free. So how to tackle that? See, the when Pahalgam happened, everybody was telling it is a war. Pradhan Mantri Modi ji also said any act of terror is a war. But we have lowered our guard. Actually, हमारी मेमोरी इतनी छोटी है कि हमें याद भी नहीं होगा कि तो पहले दिल्ली में बम ब्लास्ट कब हुए थे 2 बार. तो अब थोड़े दिनों में इसको भी भूल जाएगा. वी विल स्टॉप क्वेश्चनिंग. So that is why, how, if we have to do something, then laws have to be made very, very, very strong. It is not the person who committed the crime. The same responsibility goes to the person who supported it. The same responsibility goes to the person who, where he stayed in a hostel warden or the institution, wherever it is. Because as somebody pointed out, the health sector terrorism is a serious concern. Reason being, such attacks by the health people, actually, who are easily accessible, they are meeting so many guys, it leads to the psychological trauma actually among the large public. Same rice in, somebody pointed out that poison, what it can create. See, now we are discussing only one car bomb. If it would not have been actually stopped, how much serious casualty and devastation would have happened. So now because India is a sufferer of terrorism, all kind of terrorism, we cannot lower our guard. We have to
so
take,
yes, in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty, so you're innocent until the point you blow up your car and become a suicide bomber. Okay, I have to reasonably now ask that in the institutes that you have been operating, were you operating in those institutes as a cover for your terrorist activities? If you were people in those institutes who might not be doing the bomb making, who might not be providing the ammonium nitrate, but were aiding and abetting the cover story, whether that be in Government Medical College Srinagar, which requires to open up all its lockers and look for AK-47s, because who knows what's lying there, along with the stethoscopes and the medical books. Applies to Government Medical College Anantnag tonight. It applies to these medical facilities in Saharanpur where Adil Ahmed Radar was working, and it applies to this Al-Falah Medical College and University. Was this college and university providing a cover for terrorists? Was it in fact instituted to provide a cover for terrorists under the garb of charitable service for medical causes? These are questions that have to be asked and answered. It's dodgy AF. I thank my guest. We take a break. See you in a minute.